In this video of the Play module, we're going to be exploring what segments are, how we can create them, and how we can use them in our explorations. Now, segments are ways of grouping users together based on commonalities, either traits they have, devices they use, countries they reside in, or even events that they've logged or not logged. The way that we create segments is by going into an existing exploration. So for example, here I've created a simple freeform exploration, just looking at sessions by session default channel group. Now on the left-hand side on the variables panel, we can see that we've got our dimensions and metrics and where we've imported those already. But just above that, we have our segments section. And by clicking on the plus icon here, it takes us into the segment edit screen. Now from here, we can create a brand new segment from scratch, or we can use one of the many templates that Google provides us. There's lots of different templates for lots of different reasons, including predictive ones as well, looking at users that are likely to do something in the future. Google Analytics has a bunch of predictive metrics out of the box. However, there are some minimum requirements and some prerequisites to be aware of. If you're interested in learning a bit more around these predictive metrics and how we can use them in our segments and audiences and beyond, check out the link in the description where we go through them in a bit more detail. So let's set up a segment from scratch. I'm going to go in and create a new user segment. I want to look at all users that have made a purchase. Once I click add a new segment, it takes me into the segment edit screen. And the first thing I'll do before I do anything else is just give it a name and a description. I'm going to call it purchasers, and I'm going to give it a description of users that have made a purchase. Now to define our purchasers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for our purchase event in this dropdown. So now you'll see in the right-hand side, the summary is updating and it's showing us any user that has made a purchase. Once we're happy, we can click save and apply, and this will do two things. This will save the segment for us to be able to use again in this exploration, and it will also apply it to the technique that I'm in right now. So as you can see, it's just applied it onto this table, and now this table is only reporting on users that have made a purchase. Segments are a really powerful tool within our explorations, and we don't always have to create them from scratch every single time. There's a huge amounts of interactivity in our exploration techniques, including ways of automatically generating and creating segments. Check out the video in the description for a deep dive on this interactivity and how we can use segments to bridge the gap between all the different exploration techniques. Let's go and build another segment, but now the inverse. Let's go look at users that haven't purchased. So I'm going to click add and create a new segment in exactly the same approach. But now instead of using the include section dropdown, I'm going to add a new exclusion group to this segment. And I'm going to use the same purchase event there, but now on the right-hand side in that summary, you can see that it's taking all users and then removing, kind of like a cookie cutter, taking those users out of the total. Once I'm happy, I click save and apply it, and it does exactly the same as what it did last time. It saved the segment on the left-hand side for us to use again in this exploration, but it's also applied it to the technique that I'm in right now. So I've now got two columns in this table, one for our purchaser segment and one for our non-purchaser segment. We don't have to stick to one or the other. We can combine the include and exclude conditions together. So let's do one last example and look at combining those two together. So I'm going to click create a new segment and create a new user segment, just exactly the same as we've done before. And I'm going to look at a completely different example now. So now let's consider the funnel we built in the previous video in this module. We looked at users that visited the sale page of this website and then went through to purchase. Let's create a segment of users that started this funnel but didn't complete. So the first step is going to be users that saw the sale page. The way that we define that is the page view event with the page location containing clearance. And then I'm going to add an exclusionary group. So I'm going to take out users that have completed the funnel. So I'm going to take out users that have purchased. Let's give this a name. Let's call these our funnel abandoners and give it a quick description as well. Once I'm happy here, I click save and apply, and it works just the same. Overall, it doesn't matter how complicated or simple the logic you're using is. What we're doing is we're creating groups of users based on common traits, behavior, events they've logged or not have logged, or even predicted to do. Once we're happy and we've got our segments that we want to use, we can use them on any exploration technique that we want to. Now, it's important to note that we can't use these segments outside of this exploration, and we can't use them in any other workspace either. So that's it for segments. Join us in the next video where we talk about audiences and how we can turn these segments into audiences so that we can activate them outside of these explorations. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.